This work started as a response to a journal that I found when I was in the last year of college, and it is a story. It's a journal account of a man named John Jack Charles McGregor, and he left Nanaimo July 22nd in 1897 for the Klondike, for the Yukon, sorry. And he was gone for 3 years, and he returned when his father died in a mill fire in Nanaimo. And the entire journal account is absent of any emotional explanation. The journey described is filled with disaster and death and suicide and all these incredible emotional perils. Yet he writes not one bit about his own experiences, why he's doing it. He never really made any money, but he was clearly hungry for the idea of gold and acquisition, you know. So I read it and I was fascinated by it, and it stuck with me because I wanted to fill in the blanks. I wanted to know why this struggle, why he was pursuing these things so strongly, and it started to make me think about why we pursue anything. You know, individually in our lives, it doesn't have to be a grand thing. We pursue love, we pursue happiness, we pursue things that are beyond our reach. We always trying to do things. So I wanted to fill in some of that space. I wanted to explore that, you know, and use this as a way of exploring. It became a way of getting deeper into just our own struggles and our own things I was going through in my life at this time, helping me process those things as well. So it started with these four works here, and I just began kind of placing him in the Pacific Northwest, in this vast wilderness, alone, searching for something. And that something took on the form of this female figure. It was sort of the opposite of him, it can represent many things, from a muse or an inspiration, or a desire for something, or just simply for love. And it was really what it became to me, because when you boil down the things that people desire, whether they be money or anything, the way I see it, they all boil down to love in some way or another. Something they think will give them that. So this, you just, here she's not present, but he's experiencing a moment of, emotion. And I just wanted to create work that would, hopefully when people look at it, they would have their own narrative build inside them about it, and they would feel something. And then that's enough. That's, as long as people might just experience that a bit and think about it, and that questioning of themselves would happen, and that's what I want the work to do. So these works happen quite organically. And then after a while, I wanted to experience the union of the two, even though it kind of got away from their narrative. But so then I moved over to the male and female characters entwining, and started to explore the different things that happen when we find or encounter this ethereal other thing. It became this. These can be looked at as different expressions of a yin and yang, like a masculine and feminine balance or imbalance in one way or another. And to be honest, I was going through things in my life that had to do with loss of a partner and things like that. Not a death, but a separation. And I was curious to use that experience as a jumping off point, because you have all this intense raw energy, and so you can really talk about those subjects when you're experiencing that. So I just played with different things I was going through, and I'd seen people go through around me, like different states of needing or support or otherwise, and try to create these situations in which people form their own narratives. Again, for instance, the one in the middle, oftentimes people tell me they see the female character as trapping the male character, but other people see this very beautiful, restful embrace between the two in which she's comforting him. And the same goes for the one on the right. Some people think she looks very evil, but other people think she looks like calm, and he's perhaps protecting her or carrying her away or whatever. So people's own internal relationship to these forces affect how the work is seen. So in a sense, it's very different work for each person. So I was interested in exploring that relationship between, essentially each viewer creates a whole new narrative with all the work if they spend time with it. And I believe that I would like to make art, I strive to make art that opens people up a little bit or gets people to experience maybe some deeper things and get a little vulnerable with themselves. And so I hope that it does that to people. You know, it certainly did it to me. And then the final work over here on the wall. Again, just this one, of course, they're both totally absent, but the two trees, like from a perspective of looking up. I wanted to make a work that had no. I did a little bit of work with a Native American artist named Michael Nicola. I cannot pronounce his last name, so I will not try. And he explained to me about how their work has no up or down orientation. It has to be balanced from all angles. And that really intrigued me, and I tried to think of a view of, you know, a naturalistic view that could be treated that way. And then looking straight up at the canopy of the forest is really the only sort of what I've discovered, you know. So this piece, I won't do it because it's hung so well, but it can be, you know, it can be turned in any direction. It can even be hung diagonally, or sorry, like a diamond shape, and it has quite a powerful composition that way too. And then when I look at it from different angles, I find different things. But generally, the two trees entangling with one another going up, I feel it's pretty obvious in the sort of metaphor for the two characters. And that's the work. A few works that didn't make the cut for the show will be coming in later. A couple of weeks maybe they'll be hung, which will round out the narrative as well. But that's the work for now.